Hey everyone, so in this video, I want to talk to you all about cardio. So how do we use cardio as a tool to help us lose body fat and even stay healthy? So I want to talk about it more so from a fat loss approach because again, the majority of you that I work with are fat loss focused. So when we think about cardio, we don't want to necessarily go full swing out the gate, hours of cardio a day, 6 days a week. That is the last thing we actually want to do. And there's science behind that. So a lot of you might have noticed if we planned cardio into your plan, you'll notice that's probably not a whole lot in the beginning. And that's on purpose. So the reason for that is called cardio adaptation. So essentially, anytime we provide our body with a stimulus, i.e. cardio training, our bodies are going to adapt literally overnight. Maybe not to the fullest, obviously, but it will have a strong adaptation response, especially to the more moderate intensity cardio. Hence why a lot of you probably have walking protocols or HIIT, high intensity interval protocols. The vast majority of you aren't running miles and miles and miles on end at a moderate pace, and there's a reason for that. So I want to explain that a little bit. So let's take an example of a sprinter and a marathon runner. Their physiques look drastically different. Yeah, they do. So the sprinter is usually very lean, more muscular. The marathon runner can sometimes just look like a normal human being, like, not overweight, but definitely not lean and muscular for the majority. And there's a reason, because our bodies respond to the different types of cardio training on purpose, right? So think of it from an evolutionary perspective. If our bodies did nothing but burn calories constantly at a moderate running pace, we would have died as a species. So we adapt very, very heavily to moderate or moderate intensity steady state training as a survival mechanism. We adapt super quick. And what does adaptation look like? Adaptation means we will expend the same or less amount of calories for the same amount of work over time. So for example, say, and this is arbitrary numbers, but just to help you with this. So say you run 5 miles one day and you burn 500 calories. The next day when you run 5 miles, you're probably only gonna burn 300. It's going to actually be less because it's making your body more efficient. That is our adaptation response from a physiological level to help us survive. Because if we did nothing but burn more and more and more calories with increased energy expenditure, again, our species would die very easily, right? It's an adaptation response. It basically makes us burn less calories for the same amount of work to become more efficient so we survive. Make sense so far? So with the sprinter, the reason that doesn't happen is because with high intensity interval training, our bodies don't adapt as hard, at least not as harshly. A little bit, but definitely not to the point of more moderate state. So the reason the sprinter looks so lean is because they continue to burn more calories because the HIIT training affects them from a physiological level differently than moderate training does. That's why HIIT is so popular with fat loss, because it works. Our bodies don't adapt, our bodies don't become as efficient. They stay more inefficient. So that's why sprinters and marathon runners look so different. So again, when we're creating your plans, when we're adding cardio in as a tool to help you lose body fat, there's a reason why there's not a ton. Again, we don't want those strong adaptations. It's all progressive. And there's a reason why there's no moderate intensity work in there. It's because our bodies adapt to it too quick. So it's not necessarily the greatest tool. And LISS, so lower intensity steady state, like walking, is great because it's more, you don't have to recover from it. It's very low stress. You can add it anywhere in the day. It's easy energy expenditure. So again, it doesn't really fall into the adaptation category. It's just an extra way to easily, get more energy expenditure in without having to recover from it or be stressed from it. Very simple. You can walk your dogs, what have you. But that's why I don't necessarily incorporate a lot of moderate intensity, because of that physiological response. So Again, it's all progressive. It's not about doing as much as possible out of the gate because you will adapt and then plateau and have nowhere to go. So it's all progression and whatever makes sense for you. So we add cardio in as little as possible, as slow as possible. So you respond to that, and then we can add more if we need to. So it's all progressive in that nature. So let me know if that helps you, if that makes sense. I hope it does. If you have any questions, like always, feel free to let me know and we can chat. Either way, have a great rest of your day.